Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today we will discuss about the introduction to nutrition. Good nutrition is a basic component of health, growth and development for maintaining health throughout life. Proper nutrition of the nation is necessary for the nation growth and economic development. The term food refers to anything which nourishes the body. It would obviously include solids, semi-solid and liquid which can be consumed and which help to sustain the body and keep it healthy. The terms of food and nutrition are sometimes used synonymously, but that is not strictly correct. Food is defined as what one feeds on and is a composite mixture of many substances ranging from a fraction of a gram in some cases to hundreds of grams in others. The foodstuff is defined as anything which can be used for food. Therefore, the word nutrition is derived from the word nutrus, which means to suckle at the breast. Nutrition is defined as combination of dynamics process by which the consumed food is utilized for nourishment and structural and functional efficiency of every cell of the body. The body requires food to provide energy for organ functions, body movement and work, maintain body temperature and provide raw material for enzymes, function, growth, replacement of cells and repair. Metabolism refers to all the biochemical reactions within the body. It consists of anabolic reactions that build, sustains and body tissues and catabolic reactions that break down substances. Food is ingested, digested and absorbed to produce the energy needed for those reactions. The energy requirement of an awake person at rest is called the basal metabolic rate, which is in the abbreviation we called BMR. BMR is the energy needed at a person's lowest level of cellular functions according to the age, body size, body temperature, growth, sex, nutritional status, emotional status and good intake affect individual energy requirements beyond the BMR. When energy requirements are completely met by calorie intake in food, people maintain that activity levels without weight change if the number of calories ingested exceeds energy needs. People gain weight when the calories ingested fail to meet energy requirements. People lose weight. Classification of food and foodstuffs. Foods are classified on the basis of their function. Number 1. Energy yielding foods. Food rich in carbohydrates and fats such as cereals, sugars and tubers. Number 2. Bodybuilding foods. Food is rich in proteins such as meat, liver, fish and pulses. Third, protective foods. Food enriched in proteins, vitamins and minerals such as fruits, green leafy vegetables, liver, eggs, milk and fish. The main function of food are: number 1, provision of energy; number 2, tissue building and repair; number 3, maintenance and regulation of tissue functions. Foodstuffs may be broadly classified. Number 1, cereals, for example rice, wheat, maize, oat, which produce carbohydrates. Number 2, pulses, for example grain, green grain, fresh pea, and yield proteins. Nuts and oil seeds, for example, groundnut, almond, cashew nuts, mustard seeds, soya beans, provide protein and fats. Fourth, vegetable, for example, green leafy vegetables, spinach, which provides carotene, root vegetables, sweet potato, provide carbohydrates, other vegetables, brinjal, ladyfinger, fresh beans, which provide vitamins. Fruits, for example, citrus fruits, provide vitamins. Mangoes, orange, papaya provide carotene. Dried fruit like dates and raisins provide iron. Milk and milk products, for example, milk, curds, cheese, which provide proteins. Fish foods, for example, fish, poultry, meat, provide first class proteins, and eggs. There are 6 nutrients which we call classification of nutrients, and these nutrients are proteins, fats, carbohydrates, minerals, vitamins, and water. The food stuff contains known as nutrients, some of which have been already mentioned. Nutrients are food that contain the elements necessary to perform various functions in the body. There are 6 categories of nutrients. Further, the nutrients are divided into 2 groups. This is macronutrients and micronutrients. Macronutrients include protein, fats, carbohydrates, and water, while micronutrient includes vitamins and minerals. Macronutrients. Protein. Elements carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen. It is the only nutrients that contains nitrogen, which is the element responsible for growth. These elements make up units called amino acid. Protein is the number of amino acid joined together by peptide links to form a chain. Proteins comes from the Greek verb meaning to take first place. Proteins are the chief substances in the cells of the body. They are composed of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen. Some proteins also contain sulfur, phosphorus, iron, and occasionally other elements. A human adult contains about 10 kg of protein. The protein are made up of simpler substances called amino acids. Further, they are categorized into essential and non-essential amino acids. Essential amino acids are lysine, and non-essential amino acids are tyrosine. Amino acids are the most important components of proteins. They are essential for synthesis or building of the body tissues in growth, maintenance, and repair. Proteins can also be used as a source of energy. Certain amino acids, when present in excessive amounts, have been found to affect the health and growth. Functions of proteins are: number 1, it helps in growth and development. Number 2, it helps in wear and tear of the tissues, repair and maintenance. 3, it helps in the formation of immune bodies, enzymes, and hormones. 4, it acts as a source of energy when consumed in excess of body need. Sources of protein. Animal source. First class protein, high biological value. For example, cheese, milk, liver, fish, meat, eggs. Vegetable protein or plant source. Second class, low biological value. For example, pulses, nuts, beans and soya beans. Third, conventional sources. For example, oil, seeds, cakes, seaweeds, leaf, protein and yeast. Animal proteins are called first class proteins or superior protein as they are more easily digestible and contain more of amino acid of different types. Human beings are able to synthesize about 12 non-essential amino acids. The essential amino acids are to be derived from the food we eat, so that we eat animal protein because it contains all essential amino acids. Pulses contain about 25% protein and they are cheap. By proper combination of 2 or more vegetable foods, cereals, pulses and vegetables, it is possible to produce a mixture containing all the essential amino acid cheaper than animal proteins. This is the reason that vegetarian mixing of 3 to 4 types of pulses is essential. Protein requirements. The protein requirements depends upon the age, sex, physical, physiological and psychological and certain other factors. Deficiency of protein, protein energy malnutrition. Pakistan diet is mostly composed of carbohydrates. Protein is inadequate, especially protein of animal origin, which leads to protein deficiency, a condition called as protein energy malnutrition or protein calorie malnutrition. The protein energy malnutrition is an important cause of infant and young child's morbidity, mortality, sustained physical growth, impaired mental growth, low work output, premature aging and reduced lifespan in the developing countries. The wide occurrence of protein energy malnutrition, especially among infants, preschool children, expectant and lactating mothers in many developing countries, poses a great danger. It is widely prevalent among the poor class of Pakistan population. The rice eating belts in northern part of Pakistan are particularly affected. Causes. First, socio-cultural pattern of Pakistan lead to poor environmental condition, large family size, poor maternal health, failure in lactation, premature termination of breastfeeding, faulty child rearing practices. 2. Population explosion in Pakistan is responsible for wide gap between per capita demand and availability of protein. Infections and infestations have precipitating rules. For example, ARI, measles, diarrhea, worms infections. Or 4th, inadequacy of food supply, poverty, ignorance and poor prejudices. Fats. Fats are concerned source of energy. The term lipids is also used for fats. Lipid is a comprehensive term applied in compounds that are insoluble in water but soluble in organic solvent. Lipids include fats that are solid at room temperature and oils that are liquid at room temperature. Lipids are composed of carbon, hydrogen and oxygen, but the proportion of each element differs. from that of carbohydrates. Lipids are classified as simple, compound, and derived. Simple lipids such as monoglycerides and triglycerides are combination of glycerol and fatty acids. Monoglycerides contains on fatty acids. Diglycerides contain 2 or triglycerides contains 3. Compound lipids are simple lipids combined with a non-lipid substance such as carbohydrate, phosphorus, and proteins. Derived lipids such as cholesterol, steroids, hormones, and fat-soluble vitamins are produced during the breakdown of simple or compound lipids. Functions of fats. Fat is a concentrated source of energy. It is vehicle of fat-soluble vitamins such as A, D, E, K. Fats are source of essential fatty acids. Excess fat is stored as fat deposit in the body. Fat not used by the body is stored by adipose tissues. Fat is concentrated source of energy and it supplies per unit weight more than double the energy furnished by either protein or carbohydrates. Fats and oils are changed to fatty acids and glycerol in the digestive tract. This simpler substance passes through the intestinal wall to be used as fuel, to the stored in body fat, or to be changed into carbohydrates and stored as a glycogen. Stored fat has value in addition to its availability in food. It is stored just below the skin and serves as insulation against cold as well as contributing to the smoothness of the skin itself. It also helps to round off the angular contours of the body. Some of the stored fat is packed around the vital organs such as the kidney and heart. The fat layers around the skin prevents excessive heat loss and keeps the body warm. The padding around the vital organs protects them from the damage or injury. Sources of fats: animal fats and vegetable fats. Animal fats are butter, meat, oil, fish, eggs, cheese and cream, while vegetable fats are cooking oil, nuts, cereals and margarine. Animal source: butter, ghee, cheese and fish oils. Animal fats are poor source of with expectations of marine fish oil such as cod liver oil, but they are good source of retinol and which all lack in vegetable oils. While vegetable source they include various edible oils such as groundnut, mustard, sesame, palm oil, sunflower oil, coconut oil, olive oil. Mostly all vegetable oil are rich sources of essential fatty acids. Deficiency disease of fats. The deficiency essential fatty acid leads to phrenoderma. Excessive fatty acids in the body lead to increased blood cholesterol level are associated cardiovascular accidents or coronary. Daily requirements are: it is suggested to be 10 to 20 grams of fat per day depending on the level of calories consumed, 20% of the total energy. Danger associated with the overeating fats. Eating too much fat may result in obesity, being very overweight. Saturated fats may lead to a build-up of cholesterol in the arteries. This may cause high blood pressure, strokes and heart disease. Cholesterol level rise because there is too much saturated fat in the diet. Saturated fat is present in all animal food, for example meat, eggs, butter. High cholesterol leads to hardening of the arteries. Cholesterol is a hard waxy fat which may build up on the walls of the arteries. This causes the arteries to become narrow. This puts more pressure on the heart to pump the blood through smaller vessels. High blood pressure, heart attack or strokes may result. Benefits of unsaturated fats in the diet. Some unsaturated fats help to reduce cholesterol in the blood. Omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids are also good for brain function. Source of omega fatty acids include oily fish, seeds and nuts. Carbohydrates. They come from plant food. Plants make their own food for a process called photosynthesis. Carbohydrates are the main source of energy composed of carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. Energy composed of carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. The rate of hydrogen to oxygen is the same as in water. 2 hydrogen ions for every oxygen ion. 1 gram of carbohydrates yield 4.1 calories. Carbohydrates supply major chunk of 90% calorie requirement in balanced diet. Not more than 60% or less than 50% of the total calorie requirements should be obtained from the carbohydrates food. Sources of carbohydrates. Sugar, cakes, biscuits, jam, honey, sugar, soft drinks. There are the 3 types of sugars: glucose, fructose found in grapes, sucrose, lactose, maltose are found in starches. Cellulose, this is the fibrous substance found in living fruits, vegetables and cereals, banana, jackfruit, chiku, mango, potato, sweet potato, etc. Starch. Starch present in abundance in cereals and milts. For example, wheat, rice, potatoes, cereals, bread, pasta, maize, suji. Third, cellulose, fruit, vegetables, whole cereals, seeds and nuts. Daily requirements are of carbohydrates. The optimum quantity of carbohydrates in balanced diet is placed between 50 and 70% of total energy intake. Most Pakistani contain excessive amount of carbohydrate, providing as much as 90% of total energy intake. The carbohydrate reserve of a human adult is only about 500 gram. When man is fasting, this reserve is rapidly exhausted. Functions of carbohydrates. Carbohydrates supply the body with heat and energy. Extra carbohydrate is stored as fat, which insulates the body and prevents heat loss. Cellulose aids digestion by pushing food through the intestine quickly, preventing constipation. Cellulose also prevents disease, for example, cancer of the bone. Cellulose is also called a dietary fiber. It is not digested by the body. It is important as it aids digestion by helping to push the food through the intestine. It stimulates persistence, the contraction and relaxation of the muscles of the intestine. It helps constipation and disease. For example, cancer. It absorbs lots of water, giving a feeling of fullness. It is very important to include high fiber foods in the daily diet. Sugar. Do not include too many foods high in sugar in the diet. Many of these foods provide empty kilocalories. Empty kilocalories means that they contain sugar only and are lacking in all the other nutrients. Too much sugar leads to tooth decay and obesity. Many foods contain hidden sugars. These foods may not taste sweet but may contain sugar. In the list of the ingredients, the sugar is often called other names: glucose, sucrose and maltose. Reducing sugar in the diet. Replace sugary snacks with healthier choices. For example, fruit and nuts. Drink water instead of fizzy drinks. Sweeten food such as porridge with fish or dried fruits. Read food labels to check the sugar content and look for hidden sugars. These are two very important Water. Water is the most important nutrient because the functions of cells depends on the fluid environment. Water composes 60 to 70% of total body weight. Lean people's bodies contain more water than obese people's bodies. Infants have the greatest percentage of total body weight as water, and older people have the least. As a result, they are most vulnerable to water deprivation or loss. Yet no one, when deprived of water, can survive more than a few hours in a desert or a few days in the most protective environment. The range of daily fluids requirements for different ages. Fluid needs are met by consumptions of liquids and solid foods such as fresh fruits and vegetables, and water produced when food is oxidized during digestion. In a healthy individual, the fluid intake from all sources equals the fluid output through elimination, respiration and sweating. All ill person can have an increased need for fluid. An ill person can also have a decreased need for fluid, cardiopulmonary or renal diseases.